The clock struck midnight. I was on my laptop in my bedroom, browsing through YouTube videos. However, my browsing stopped when my phone vibrated. I saw that I received a text message from my friend, Ben. "Hey man, I'm outside by the back door. Can you let me in?" I knew he was lying. For the last few weekends, he had been messing with me. One weekend, he told me he was parked in my cul-de-sac, when in reality, he was in his bedroom. The following weekend, he told me he was coming over to hang out. When I came outside to greet him in his car, he floored it out of my neighborhood. I wasn't going to let him get me this time. I sent a reply back. "I know you're just messing with me again." He immediately replied back. "No, I'm being serious this time. I am by the back door." "Nice try. I know you're not there." I placed my phone down and continued my search. About a minute later, my phone vibrated again. "I'm downstairs." "Ben, you can't troll me 3 weekends in a row. However, I'll give you an A for effort." I placed my phone down again. I wasn't going to play his little game. As I was about to continue my search, I started to hear something from the deafening silence of my dark house. I faced the doorway behind me and listened closely. It sounded like footsteps, silent footsteps walking around downstairs. It was nerve-wracking. I couldn't believe it. Was my mind tricking with me? Or was Ben actually in my house? I grabbed my phone. "Are you joking with me, man?" I continued to listen as my phone vibrated again. "No, I told you I was downstairs, but you didn't believe me." I was quite relieved that it was him, but I was pissed off that he broke into my house. I could hear him walking around downstairs still as I waited for him to come into my bedroom. I grabbed my phone again. "Aren't you going to come upstairs? I can hear you walking around downstairs. Just come up here already." I sent the message and waited for him to respond. I was starting to get a little annoyed after a minute of waiting. I got up from my bed and went to the doorway. I proceeded to shout downstairs, "Get your ass upstairs already! Stop messing around!" I sat back on my bed as I began to hear him walk upstairs. Suddenly, my phone vibrated again. It was a text message from Ben. "You know I was messing with you, right?" My heart dropped. I looked up at the doorway to see my killer smiling at me.
Help me!
On the last night of my honeymoon, my husband Ricky and I were soaking in the beach resort's outdoor hot tub. It was December, you see, and there were maybe only 5 rooms occupied in the whole resort. Although the fire pit was burning hot and bright 1 lot over, no one but us was outside. My new husband and I felt ballsy and awesome and grown up for braving the near-freezing temperature to relax in the hot tub. "This is so deluxe," I said on a long sigh. I sat against a jet and let it pummel my lower back. "I know," said Ricky, stretching his arms out behind us and craning his head toward the sky. "You can see every star up there. You don't see that in the city." A gust blew over the hot tub and whirled the steam around, creating mini tornadoes. On the other side of the dunes behind us, the ocean slammed against the shore and hissed as it receded. I smiled, blissful. "Our friends are going to be so jealous when we tell them about this," I said. "I wish we could get a picture of us in this thing so I could post it on Facebook." Yeah, was Ricky's absent-minded reply. "But we don't have our camera or our phones or anything out here with us though, so..." My husband didn't care to show off like I did. "Yeah." I sat silent for a moment. I might run back to the room really quick to get my phone. Nope. He put a hand on my arm. "We're on our honeymoon, not to mention a much-needed vacation. We promised we were going to cut ourselves off from the world for the week, didn't we?" I said in weak agreement. "Right. Let our friends use their imaginations when we tell them about it. And let us enjoy this moment. We'll only go on our honeymoon once." I sighed and sat back against his outstretched arm. All right. You're right. I closed my eyes. We stayed out there, not talking, until the timer for the jets went off, and then we scurried back into the warm beacon of our building. The next morning, after we'd been awake for a while, Ricky noticed something square poking in under our door. Thinking it was the bill of the balance for our stay, he went over to retrieve it. "What's the damage?" I called over. He didn't respond for several minutes. "That bad, huh?" I asked, grinning. He turned and walked over to me. His expression was disturbed and he had gone pale. "What?" I asked. "What's wrong?" He was holding a Polaroid picture of us from the night before. On the white part at the bottom, scrawled in black Sharpie, were the words, "Here you go." It was taken from behind. One day, my mother was driving me and my younger brother home from a gymnastics meet. Since we went out to eat after it, it was getting dark when we finally embarked on our journey home. We were driving down one of the roads to get to our house, which is a secluded branch of a road that veers away from the nearby town. We lived down in the boondocks when I saw what I thought was a little girl curled up on the shoulder of the road. At first, my mom, who had trouble seeing in the dark, didn't see the little girl, but I insisted I saw her. My mom has a very motherly persona, so she opted to turn the car around to see if the girl needed help. We made a U-turn and circled back to where I had thought I saw the little girl. When we reached the spot, she was nowhere to be found. My mom wrote it off as me just being tired from working so hard, so she made another U-turn to continue on our way home. After about 10 minutes of driving, my little brother yelled from his car seat, "Mama, the girl!" My mom instinctively stomped on the brakes, assuming someone was running into the road out of her view. When we didn't see anything, she asked him what he had meant. He told her that a little girl was sitting on the side of the road and was afraid she was going to get hurt since he was taught to stay away from the streets. My mom glanced out of her side mirror, and I craned my neck to take a look out of the rear window. Nothing. After quietly scolding my brother under her breath for fabricating what I thought I saw, Mom began to drive again. The rest of the 20-minute drive was rather quiet. No one talked, and the little girl didn't show up again. When we finally arrived home, my mom shuffled up the stairs to help my brother get ready for bed. I then remembered I forgot my bag in the car, so I turned around in the foyer to go back outside. I walked outside, went to the passenger's door, opened it, reached inside, and grabbed my bag. As I ducked out of the car, out of habit, I glanced out the side mirror. When I did, about 15 feet behind me was the girl I saw on the side of the road about a half hour prior, still curled up and still hugging her knees. The hair on the back of my neck stood up, so I slammed the car door and bolted to my house. I didn't bother turning around. Still to this day, I try to avoid traveling down our road going outside at night.